Good morning, everyone. My name is Nicola and I am simply a stitcher. Welcome back to my channel. So today, as promised, it's the next one in the new rotation of the channel, and today we are going to do a little stitch with me. And have I got a treat for you today? So it is a new start. The eagle-eyed amongst you who've seen my Instagram will have seen that Avarice has finally been completed, and I've now moved on to this little beauty, which is the second one in the series. So this is Envy, and again it's by Marta Dahlig, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, and isn't she just stunning? So I've swapped out all my golds and burgundies for greens and blues, and there's even some creams and blacks in, and obviously black in here as well. So yeah, so let's have a look and see where we're at. So as you can see, I have made a start on this piece over the last few days. I did have a question about my kitting up process, which I'll talk about as we go along today. But currently I am about 2,000 stitches in. Let's just move in. And as you can see, we've got sort of greens and blues in there. And I mean, the colours are just fabulous. But there we go. So yeah, so I thought I'd have to can't speak. So I thought I'd do just a little stitch with me this morning on this piece, and have a chat. So there we go. So today is Tuesday. It's the 12th of July, and it is hot, hot, hot. It's still sort of fairly early in the morning. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. I am working today. So yeah, I thought I'd get in a little stitch with me. That's it. There we go. Getting a little stitch with me before I have to sit at my desk. We've had some really unseasonably, well, for the UK, unseasonably warm weather, and it's been around about, you know, nearing 30 degrees, and in some places it's been over. I don't like warm weather. I burn in cold weather. So, you know, the warm weather for me is not a treat. But, you know, some people do like it. They don't mind it. It wouldn't do for everybody to be the same, would it? So yeah, so let me just tighten up my stand, because it just seems to be wibbly wobbly. That's it. So yeah, Avarice is finished. Oh, excuse me, a sneeze snuck up on me then. Yeah, Avarice is finished. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits with her. She needs a good wash. She needs a degrid. Oh, excuse me. And yeah, I'm just, after 11 years, I'm just so pleased that it's done. This one is not going to take 11 years. I have, I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I do beg your pardon. Don't know where that's coming from. Never ever sneeze 3 times in a row. Oh. Yeah, so Avarice, 11 years in the making. Finally completed. And this one I am stitching on the same fabric, you know, the same type of fabric, the same count, and the same method. So I am stitching this on 25 count Lugana, 2/1 full cross, no, 1/1 full cross. It contains 89 colours. As I said, there's lots of greens and blues, and there's some creams and greys in there as well. And as you will have seen from the picture, instead of the gems that surrounded Avarice, this one's the circles in this one contain ivy leaves, and you know, they're all sort of, you can see the veins on them, so I'm quite looking forward to getting down to those, although I should imagine I'll be in confetti hell. It is what it is, though. It's the price we pay for these beautiful pieces. So yeah, I was asked a question about my kitting up process. Now, I've been stitching for a number of years, and whenever previously I've kitted up a project and I've bought the skein of thread, whether it be you know, just like a full DMC skein like this one's 647, I've put them in a little grip seal bag. Let me just zone out with the label on the top, and then I've got them in a box at the side of me, sort of stood up so I can just see the number, and that's how I've done it. And then more recently, in more recent times, I've done some kitting for Sarah up at Pain Free Crafts. So when I did that, it gave me the opportunity to, instead of just acquire a selection of threads, to acquire a selection of cones. And I currently, in my conservatory, have over 450 cones of thread. So I'm never going to run out. If I do find that I haven't got the thread left on a skein, then this is what I do. Thread card with the number, the approximate number of metre lengths that I need, and I go and cut it directly from the cone. And that's it. There's no sort of great magic. These are the ones that I didn't have in little bags. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 on that card, and 6 on that one. So out of the 90 colours, I had 22 that I had to go and cut from cones, because my stash is already that extensive. But there we go. We digress, don't we? So yeah, not a great sort of mystery. I just go and cut off what I need off the cone in metre lengths. I rarely have to buy floss. I always have to buy fabric, although I've got some fabric. I wanted Lugana for this one. I've only got standard even weave, DMC even weave, but obviously I wanted Swag Art Lugana, which I sourced from the lovely ladies at Lovecraft, who are currently having a sale, by the way. So if you are in the market for some craft supplies, you know, it's definitely worth taking a look at Lovecraft, signing up for their emails. You'll get a discount code. So yeah. So I put out my floss tube last week, and you'll remember in the floss tube I had a Mirabilia pattern which I had purchased from Northgate Needlecraft, and some fabric, which was a Witchelt Permin linen in Sea Breeze, I think the colourway was, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Many of you said, and I actually tend to agree with you, that that fabric is too dark for the mirror. So I'm going to have a look at some alternative fabrics and see what I can come up with. But that sea breeze or sea green or whatever it's called will definitely get used. So that's that. And I've had some great comments on my floss tube, some lovely feedback, which I do thank you all for. It's fab. That, I mean, obviously I must be doing something right if you guys are coming back and watching again. So there we go. So I've had a few more new subscribers since the last floss tube and since posting my finish on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, by the way, my handle, I suppose, or whatever you call it, my name on Instagram is just at simply a stitcher, all in one word. Do go and check it out. And even if you don't have Instagram, if you just Google Instagram simply a stitcher, all one word, you should be able to see, because it's public. It's not hidden. You know, I don't protect my Instagram posts. I've no need to. So there we go. So what's happening in our world? So today's Tuesday. My eldest daughter, unfortunately, is not very well. She's caught the dreaded coronavirus. She's the first one in the household to have got it. So she's confined herself to her room, occasionally requesting Pepsi, throat soothers and food. Everybody else is fine, which makes me inclined to think that Hannah works in a charity shop. She volunteers in a charity shop, and it makes me inclined that she's picked it up there. Last week we did have a very busy week as a family. What did we do? On Wednesday, I had the daughter's school sort of prize giving type thing. What do they call it? They call it the Academy Awards. She attends an academy school, so they went with Academy Awards. So we went to that on Wednesday evening, and that turned out to be, you know, a fairly late evening in the grand scheme of things. We don't do late evenings in this house as a rule. Then on Friday we all went to a wedding, and that was absolutely phenomenal. And my friend who got married, him and his bride, it was a fabulous evening, and everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves, my children included. Saturday, Andy and I went off filming for Village Idiot. Crinkle. And we went to some North Lincolnshire villages and West Lindsey up here in the UK, and that was nice. And I got sunburnt, which was not so nice. As I said, I can get sunburnt on a foggy day, so you know, for me it's never great. This week I am doing some more training for work, learning a little bit more. My stepdad also has a birthday today, so happy birthday. My sister has a birthday tomorrow, so happy birthday. And yeah, that's about it. It just sort of seems to have been the sort of 7 days have been really busy. Still have time to finish Avarice though. me and Andy were talking this week, and he was saying the next one's not going to take you as long, is it? Well, no, I would hope not. I mean, I'd certainly like to be finishing this one within the year, but I have got a few focus pieces or pieces that do need some attention. The Christmas window is an easy stitch because it's on stamped. I've got the Realm of Middle Earth map. I've got the Maui Princess. I've got Pandemic to finish. I've got the little one, little gecko gem, the Alice for Lamb, which is started. Although that shouldn't take too long to finish once I get stuck in. What else is there? Oh, and then my Middle Earth travel series. Minas Tirith needs a little more work. Maybe on my next stitch with me I might get that one out. But yeah, I mean, if you do want to see a particular piece on a stitch with me, just put a comment below. I mean, obviously I did have wrist last time. I'm doing envy this time because it's a new start. I don't mind what I stitch on, and really for me it's hard to decide. So there we go. So next week I am on annual leave for 4 out of the 5 days. I'm back in work on Friday, so me and Andy are going off to do a bit of filming in the Midlands on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm back to the hairdressers, believe it or not, on Thursday. I mean, 3 odd years I don't get cut, and then I'm back twice in a month. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with this picture? I don't do girly girl. But I'm having, because I've got a lot of different colours in my hair, I'm having some a colour adjustment, shall I say, just to try and soothe it from all the salt and pepper stuff and try and get it a bit more even toned. So that's going to be something different, because I've never had anything like that done in a hairdresser's, and the hairdresser was telling me that it'll be foils, which of course I've never had done in a hairdresser. I've never had done out of a hairdresser, but there you go. So it's all a learning curve for this here ungirly girl. I just love the greens in this. Some gorgeous colours. This seems to be the particular part that I'm working on. It seems to be like a leafy, sort of a tree background. And there's actually, in this bit here, this you're probably looking at 20 different shades of green. So but yeah, I'm loving it again. But that's me and my stitching. I just love it. Given that my average is 1,000 stitches a day, if I worked on this piece every day, that's 240 days. That's certainly less than a year. But I've got other stuff in between. I mean, ideally I'd like to finish it next year. You know, do a sin a year. Whether or not it'll happen in reality is a different matter. I do have a habit of working my socks off on a piece until I get, you know, a bit knackered with it, and then moving on to something else. Certainly when I travel next week, I shall be taking Minas Tirith with me, and when we're away I'll be filming a floss tube, probably in a hotel room, looking as rough as, knackered, like a squasham, because I'll probably be sunburned. And you know, it is what it is. It'll be alright. I'll be fine. I guess we shouldn't complain about the warm weather. We complain about the cold weather, so I'm guessing we shouldn't complain about the warm. So we've had a bit of upheaval here in the UK with, I don't get involved in politics, but our Prime Minister has stepped down as a leader of his respective party. Respective, I know what I said there. And he's essentially just a guardian Prime Minister at the moment, until they all sort themselves out. I hate politics, you know, but we've got at the moment a country where interest rates are increasing, the cost of living is increasing, the cost of food in the supermarket, fuel at the petrol pump, gas and electricity at home, everything's just going up and up and up. And it's a bit unnerving, shall we say, unsettling, that, you know, just to run your home and feed your family and go to work, those three things are all increasing. And, you know, I'm glad I'm fortunate enough to, you know, be working in an occupation where I earn enough to cover that. My savings will probably take a hit because I won't be able to save as, you know, like I have been doing, but I'd sooner feed my family than have money in the bank. I'm pretty sure we're all like that. It's just terrible. If it was a gradual increase, that'd be one thing, but things are just going up with a bump, literally overnight. Ideally, the powers that be should be stepping in and telling the industry that, or the respective industries, to lay off the fat cat bonuses. And you know, they don't. I read a story that one energy company is making in profit something like £80 million a day, and that's ridiculous. I suppose, though, that they're like, oh, we've got to answer to our investors. Yeah, there's always an excuse. It just means that us, you know, Joe Public, we have to, we have to pay extra, because we've no alternative. Popped out with Andy last week and he says we need to go supermarket. Went to the supermarket with him, and on the way home he kind of deviated from his normal route. I says, where are you going? He says, I'm taking you somewhere expensive. And then he pulled into a petrol station. I was like, funny. And then when we were coming back from Lincolnshire, he called for fuel on Saturday. And he paid what he thought was a good price. And then every time he passed the petrol station, he was looking at the price and he was cursing himself because it was more expensive. And he was furious. Oh, excuse me. Hiccup there. But you can't predict it, can you, from one sort of town to the next? And you might just be hearing, I've got my tumble dryer on in the background, which is really daft. I keep telling my husband, there's a washing line there, use it. It's fairly quiet though here at the moment. The kids will be due to come into school around the corner shortly, so I'm guessing that we'll hear some children and parents passing by. The Breakfast Club ones will be going in, I would have thought. I was in the middle of a phone call yesterday and some absolute lunatic passed by the house with a really noisy moped with an exhaust that sounded like a hairdryer. I was like, fabulous. And I'm saying to this caller, I'm so sorry. And she went, oh, don't worry about it. I says, it's the sun, it brings them all out. We did have a wonderful sunny day again yesterday. Although, where I work in the house, it's the quietest, well, I said the quietest, it's the coolest part of the house. So I kept myself fairly cool through the day, which was good. I've learned that trick over the years. Find the coolest place and exploit it. It's such good therapy doing this. It's like meditation. I love it. Whenever somebody puts on a page or a group or a status or whatever on social media, I need something to help relax me. I'm straight in there, cross stitch. It looks like as well that the retreat that I'm going to in October, I think it's full. I'm pretty sure that somebody's talking about another one in Cardiff. I think it's Cardiff. Might be Swansea. I think it's Cardiff. Oh, earthquake. So if I do hear news about that, of course, I'll share. I don't think Cardiff would be on the cards for me. It's a bit far. But the one in Retford's about 45-minute drive from me. 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Not far. Looking forward to spending a couple of days with some stitchy friends. Because as I said on my last video, stitching, my friend, you know, the only other person in real life, as it were, the only other person that I know personally and I've met that does this kind of stitching is going with me on this retreat. And I think I'm the only person that she knows who stitches. I actually enabled her to do it, and she put it quite rightly. She says it's very solitary, and just sort of meeting up with people and having a chat. It's going to be lovely. Can't wait. I got messages coming in, but I can't read them. I remember to turn off the vibrate function on the phone, so you guys will not hear them. Because I'm such an idiot for forgetting to do that. But it is what it is. I listened to these videos back when I've uploaded them, and sometimes when I watch these Stitch With Me videos, I can hear the needle and the thread going through the fabric, but for some reason, I mean, it could just be me, I can't hear it on mine. Maybe it's to do with needle size and fabric count, I don't know. I can hear like a little pop from this one because I've attached the fabric to the eye of the needle to stop it from no, I've attached the floss to the eye of the needle to stop it slipping off, so it makes like a little popping sound as it goes through, but I can never hear that, you know, that sort of a long drawn out sound of the thread going through the fabric you hear on some of these. I can never hear it. Don't know why. Maybe my phone's just not that good. And I'm sure it'd be blatantly obvious from what I'm doing, but I'm using the same technique that I used on sort of the latter part of Avarice and the when I did the Gecko Rouge cap. I'm taking a strand and running with it where I can. If it's too far a jump, so if it's over 10-15 squares, then I'll unthread and rethread. So you know, kind of fill in the gaps, and sometimes it's nice bits of block stitching, other times it's confetti. Matters not, as long as I get it done, eh? So I think what I might do, maybe after my next floss tube, next Tuesday, I might just stick a poll in the community tab. Pick a project for the next stitch with me, and I'll have a choice of my current, probably out of 5, I think. We'll go for Envy, Minas Tirith, Realm of Middle Earth, Maui Princess, or Pandemic, I reckon. And then I get, you know, put the vote in the hands of you guys. Which piece do you want to see some progress on next? I believe I'm a quarter of the way through the Middle Earth map. And if I worked on that solid for the next 12 months, it still wouldn't be done. Because there's, you know, 700 and something thousand stitches in it. And at the rate I'm going, I'm on track to sort of complete my 365,000 this year. I didn't talk about that in my last floss tube, about where I am on that. I think, well, I'm definitely over 200,000 for the year. About 210,000 stitches so far this year on my pattern keeper pieces, where I've been able to count the stitches. Which is good. It's a lot. I know, you know, a lot of people tend to stitch much slower than me, and they're like, oh, you know, keeps the enjoyment, and it's not a race, and this, that, and other. One thing that certainly for me, I love the process of stitching, but certainly for me, since getting Steampunk Seahorse last year finished, I kind of had a finishing bug. I just want to finish stuff, which is a bit weird. I get that. Because most people, I mean, I know a lot of people on sort of floss tube. I've seen the kit parades and the mid-year work in progress parades and so on. A lot of people have got a lot of projects started. You see, I can't be like that. You know, I was going to do Whip Go this year, but I just don't have enough to do it. I mean, what do I have, like 5, 6 projects? For me, that's not enough, you know, to sort of, when you sort of see people that have got 30 plus full coverage projects, and I think there's even one or two out there that have got 30 plus full coverage that are supersized max colour. I just think, wow, you know, I don't think I could do that. Look at that, I've got a loop. It's gone. I have one supersized max colour in my collection, and I've not even started it yet. I've been threatening to start it for 6 months. Andy says I should leave it to next year now. Yeah, I think he's done it again. I have a tendency to agree with him, because I've got plenty to do. I'm certainly not short of stitching material. I'm just short of stitchy chit chat more than anything. And there it goes, you see, another silence. Oh, I'm terrible at chit chat. If you were, you know, if you were sat with me and having a conversation with me, God, I can rattle, I can talk. But because I'm kind of talking to a camera, it's a bit different for me. That's quite a chunk I've done there. I'm still doing the get up early, getting some stitches, lunchtime getting some stitches, and then stitch in the evening. It's kind of become a habit now. I'm not going to have a day in the office until August time, I think. Unfortunately, I wasn't very well the last time they had one, so I couldn't go in. Next time I have a day in the office, I will be on annual leave, because it's next week. So it's going to be August before I'm able to go in, I think. Unfortunately, I had a stomach bug, which was fine because, I mean, obviously I couldn't work, but it just meant that I'd just sit quietly and stitch in between trips to the bathroom. Not wishing to get graphic, but you know, had to make a few additional trips, and I was in a little bit of pain, but nothing I can't handle. I think that's probably one of the things that helped Avris get finished when she did, because I had a couple of extra days to just focus solely on her. That's it. Still say I'm going to have to get a camera underneath to show my underneath working. Thread slipped out. Oh, and thanks, by the way, for everybody's comments on the last stitch with me about the dominant, you know, whether or not they stitch with the dominant hand, the top and underneath. It's interesting to sort of find out. It was a fairly even split, I think. It looks like, I mean, obviously it's your preference what you do, but it looks like I'm not as uncommon as I thought with the dominant hand on top, even though I can quite easily reverse it and stitch the other way. And when I get to sort of, you know, the right hand side on my work, I do tend to sort of stitch with my left hand on top, simply because of the stand and how it restricts my movement of my right hand. So yeah. I need to mark some off. I have done a heck of a lot. Come on, pattern keeper, do your stuff. Oh yes, 177 so far. Can we make 200 before I stop this video? I'm pretty sure I can. I mean, 177 in 47 minutes isn't bad, is it? Oh, I've done it again. I think what I do that, I don't tend to go over a second stitch because of the angle that I put my needle in. I'm not a straight down, I'm a sideways. I don't know why. It's coming on a treat already, this one. Just move up a bit. What am I doing here? Oh yeah. It might be that you have to turn your sound up, because I've just realised to myself as I was saying that I'm talking quite softly, which is not like me. I'm normally quite loud. You can hear the children coming now, ready for school. I don't know if it's breakfast club or what, but I can hear them. I don't miss those days. Well, I kind of miss those days taking my children to school, but I kind of don't miss those days. It's a bit of a double-edged one, isn't it? Yeah, I kind of think I've done my time now with school runs and trips and packed lunches and uniforms. Although Lauren is still in school, she's fairly self-sufficient at 13. I think I'm quite lucky with my girls. They're all reasonably independent. I know that, Andy and I can do like, we did the other week and go away overnight and it not be a concern. They're all sort of old enough and responsible enough to be here. And if a 21-year-old, an almost 21-year-old and an 18-year-old can't be responsible for a couple of days, it's a poor showing, isn't it? Although some days I do think the cat's more responsible. Can get daft from time to time, but to be fair, what teenager doesn't? Come on, sit nicely. Thank you. The problem with an even weave like this is sometimes your stitches just don't sit nicely like they should, and I have to give them a prod with a needle. Let's mark off this next lot. There we go. That's just over 200. Oh, excuse me. Oh, 8:30 in the morning. I think that's going to be it from me, guys. I'm going to go and get another coffee and get ready for work in half an hour. So that's it for this stitch with me. So I will see you guys next week for a floss tube from a hotel. Do keep an eye on the Instagram, and there'll be some obviously some further progress pics on there. But yeah, that's it. So all that's left is just to say, take care, happy stitching, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now, everyone.